Mesachta Shavous, Daf Mem Zayin Amud Aleph. We're up to the top line. Haya Ech Behem Mesachta B'Kuvya. Okay. If there's a person who is Mesachik B'Kuvya, no, he cannot swear. It says, "You want to hasul lamali? Why do we need a case which is only Isa de Abana to make him a chashud on the shvua? The whole union of chashud al shvua, even by shvua is that we don't allow him to swear is only with the Abana. But we brought cases of Dadaisa, which is chashud like shvua seidus. That's minatera. It says, yeah, if you know Edis about to help somebody else to collect his money and you don't say the Edis, so then the halacha is that it says, he carries a sin. So it's such a person is a chosh on the shvuah midrabanan. But the Isa is a Isa daraisa that he committed to become a chosh on the shvuah. It says, you want a ton of psula daraisa. Till now we learned about cases which is possible in Torah. The Katani P'Sula Rabbanim, Mesach B'Kuvya, is not a P'Sula Haraisa, because Mesach B'Kuvya, he agreed to give the money if he loses. But the whole thing was an asmachta. He in his head thought, for sure he's going to win. He never thought he's going to lose. So he's not really giving them, when he loses and he has to pay, he's not giving it B'Lev Shalom. So that's only Midrabanan, that Gzeh is only Midrabanan. So he wants to tell you, even in such a case, he's Chosh al Ashwa. So in the Mishnah continues, if side the mal and side the labor were both chashudim, neither of them could swear. So what's the halacha? So in the Mishnah it says, the Mishwur goes back to its place. We're going to explain to the Gemara what that means. Those are the words of Rabbi Yossi. And Rabbi Meir says, Yachleiku, since neither of them could swear, we split it in half, and he only has to pay half. How do we learn these opinions? Is it Rabbi Yossi who said Yachleiku, or is it Rabbi Meir? Because we don't have a clear giser. Says Amalei Abichlal, the halach is like Rabbi Yossi versus Rabbi Meir, because they say Nimukei Imoy. Rabbi Yossi was very the smartest were with him. He had a straight head, and that's why we always pass it like Rabbi Yossi versus Rabbi Meir. Yeah, but Rabbi Meir was a genius. But it says Rabbi Yossi Nimukei Imoy. He had the Seichel HaYosher, like they say. So Zog the Gemara Amalei, so Rav Nachman said, I don't know who said what. Says Gemara Hilchsamai. Let's understand what's the halacha. Is the halacha Yachleiku that we divided or not? Amalei, so Leyadana, I don't know. So the Gemara brings and he's Machriya. The Gemara says who the halacha is going to be. It says Itma Rav Yossi Manyumi Rav Nachman Rav Yossi Yachleiku. We learned that Rabbi Yossi Bar Manyumi said in the name of Rav Nachman that Rabbi Yossi was the one that said is of the opinion if they're both chashud Yachleiku. V'chein Tani Rav Zvid Bar Yishaya Rabbi Yossi Yachleiku. So did Rav Zvid Bar Yishaya learn that Rabbi Yossi is the one that says Yachleiku. Ika de Amri, others say Tani Rav Zvid. It's not Rav Zvid Bar Yishaya. It's Rav Zvid. It's a different Rav Zvid. Omer Rabbi Yishaya. He said in the name of Rabbi Yishai, Rabbi Yossi Yachleiku. Rabbi Yossi says you divide it. Rabbi Yossi ba Minyumi, Ovad Rav Nachman Uvda Yachleiku. That Rav Nachman paskin Yachleiku. So you paskin like Rabbi Yossi, which we say normally the halacha is like Rabbi Yossi, and that's the psak. We want to know what's the halacha. Let's go back to the first opinion who said Chazah Shvul M'Kena. What's the pshat that the shvul goes back to its place? Lehichen Chazah, to where does it return? Rabbi Yami said, Rabbi Chazah Shvul Sinai, that the din goes back to the shvur that Hashem gave was mashbiah. The Yidden lo yisigzel b'har Sinai, and if meaning that Bezdin cannot get involved. If you look in the Rashi, Lis Sinai. Rashi says, "L'shvuz ha'sinai she'ishbi ha'kadosh baruch hu yisrael aloi sigzel," that the Eibishter made the Yidden swear not to steal. But who yifre min ha'koifer mamei lechaveirei al bezdin niskapin like l'shvuz le'utrayu. He says that the Eibishter will take care of business. If it's a case where they're both chassid, it goes back to Sinai, where Hashem said Lo Sigzo, and Hashem assures you the guy who stole will lose that money, and the one who was stolen from will get back his money somehow. We'll make a deal. That amount of money he's going to get back. So that it goes back to the person who's mechuyev to swear. He cannot swear. So we say, so he's going to have to pay. That's what the halacha will be. Not if mamish the direct opposite of the Rabbi Sin Shabbavel. Rabbi Sin Shabbavel, who are they? Rabbi Shmuel. Rabbi Sin Shabbavet Yisrael, who is the Rabbi Sin of Eretz Yisrael? Rabbi Abba. Rabbi Sin Shabbavel, we said is Rabbi Shmuel. So where do we see that the Rabbi Sin Shabbavel, their opinion that we say that it goes back to Sinai, and we Bezdin cannot pass, and they will take care of business. Where do we see they hold of that? It's not that we learned now Mishnah Chaim, Yisraelim, so too Yisraelim that inherited a star chay from their father. Lo yipar el b'shvur. They cannot collect only with the shvur. And they asked in the Gemara later on Memches, Miman, from whom can they collect only with a shvur? Ilema miloiva. If you're going to say when they want to collect from the loiva, meaning that the Yisraelim of the Malva come with the star of their father, and they cannot collect only with a shvur. In fact, you matter why? Avur and Shakal Yishvur, if the father would have been around, they would have been able to collect without a shvur. So the Yarshim themselves, the shvur, you're going to say we're going to be machma on them more than their father? Why? Allah Hachikama says, only this is the kavanah of the Mishnah. It means that they want to collect from the Yisraelim of the labor, not directly from the labor. So then you put it al b'shvur. Then the Yisraelim of the Malva can only collect from the Yisraelim from the labor with a shvur. Says the Gemara, but Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Shmuel, they both say this opinion, but they say Leishanu that this was not learned. Only if the Malva died in the lifetime of the labor. So the Yisraelim. First the Malvas had Yisraelim, now the Leva died. But if the Leva would have died first, in the time when the Malvas are alive, so now the Malva would already been before he passed away. If he wanted to collect the money from the Yisraelim of the Leva, he would have had to swear. And if it's such a star, that the Malva would have had to swear, a person cannot bequeath to his children a star chayiv that needs a shvur. Okay, so in such a case, we say it's chazal and kaima, they don't collect, and they just will make sure they get back the money. But it's like chazal and kaima l'sinai. Why? Because the Malva was alive when the Leva passed away. And before the Malva passed away, he was already chayv shvur with his star chayv, and then he passed away, so the children cannot inherit such a star chayv to collect from the Leva, because they don't have knowledge. Neither of them have knowledge. And the father had knowledge; he could have made the shvur then, so they cannot bequeath it, and therefore it's chazal k'ayim. Okay, Rabbi Sin Shabbat Yisrael, Rabbi Abba. Rabbi Sin of Eretz Yisrael, that's Rabbi Abba. There was this person, the Chatif, Naska Mechabrei, the known case of a person that grabbed a silver bacha, a piece of silver from his friend. Asla Kamei, the Rabbi Ami. He came before Rabbi Ami. Yosef Rabbi Abba Kamei, and Rabbi Abba was over there. I see Chad Sada. The Teveya brought one aid, the Machta Chatfam that he grabbed. The Teveya brought an aid that the Nitra grabbed it away from him. This bacha. Amalein, yes. Chatri, I grabbed it. I grabbed my own. Rabbi Ami said, how should the Dayanim judge such a case? Tell the Nitra, you got to pay. Right? You were made that you grabbed it. And if you were made, you got to pay it back. But it says, you want it like a Teisadi. There's no to aid him that he grabbed it, so therefore we have to believe that if he grabbed his own with a migo, that he could have said he never grabbed it. Nifterei, to say, okay, let him be potter because of this migo, that he could have said he never grabbed it. So that we can't either say, because he kachatzada, there's a one aid that says that he did grab it. So what are you going to say? Okay, so let him swear. So the Eidach, let him swear against the Eidach. Says Gemara, what should he swear? Keeping the Amar Michtat Chatvi, he's saying he did grab it. He's not contradicting the Eid. If he's going to say he didn't grab it, then he can say it's such a testimony. But he's agreeing to the Eid. So what could he? So how could he swear? There's nothing to swear on. How like a Goslin? It's similar to the case of a Goslin who's possible to swear. A Goslin's a Russia, and a Russia is Chashal Shvoi. He cannot swear. Here he's not a Russia, but it's al derech that he can't. It's the same situation that he cannot swear because he's being made to the aid that he grabbed it. Amalei Rabbi Abba said, "Had mechuyev shvua ve'eino yachol lishava." It falls into the category of a person who is mechuyev shvua, but he's unable to swear. Whoever's mechuyev to swear and he's unable to swear, he pays. So here we have the Rabbi Sina of Eretz Yisrael that paskins. This is Rabbi Abba. Rabbi Abba is the Rabbi Sina of Eretz Yisrael that says that it goes back to the one that's mechuyev in the shvua, and being that he cannot swear, so he pays. Amar Rabba Kavasei the Rabbi Abba mistabel. Rabbi said it's reasonable to say like Rabbi Abba. What does it mean? Chazlim kaima. It goes back to the person. The shvua goes back to the person who was mechuyev in that shvua, and if he's unable to swear, he pays. Where do we see that? The Tani Rabbi Yami. Rabbi Yami had learned, but I said that Dashans the pasuk of Shvus Shomrim. It says Shvus Hashem Tiyim Ben Shneim. There should be a shvua between the two Balidinin. But it cannot be between the two Yashim. In fact, what's the case talking about? If you're going to say that the Yashim of the Teveya said to the Yashim of the Nitva, I had $100 of my father in the hand of your father, and the Yashim of the Nitva said, our father has 50 zuz of your father, but 50 he doesn't. Says, what is the difference between the son or the father? Just like the father would have been a maid of a mixes, he would have been mechuyev to swear, so they should be mechuyev to swear. Elalav, the Amalei, we have to say what's the case talking about? That the son of the Teveya says, I have $100 of my father in your father's hands. Amalei, and the son of the Nitva says, Chamshin Yadayna, we know about 50. Chamshin lo Yadayna, but 50, the other 50 we don't know. So now you can't swear on, I don't know. What are you going to swear? Swear, I don't know, it means nothing. He's saying nothing. It's a shua shop. If you're going to say, it's understood, if the father would have said, 50, I know, 50, I don't know, Michayiv, he would have been a chayiv shua because he's a made of a mikzas, and since he cannot swear on, I don't know, he has to pay. So that's why it's a chad. That's why we needed the special pasuk of Shvus Hashemim, where it says Shvus Hashem Tiyeh Ben Shneim to teach you. But if it was Yarshim, they would be potter. Lemifta Gaba Yarshim, that they should be potter by Yarshim. But if you're going to say Nami potter, that the father in such a case is also potter because you're going to learn Chazal Sinai. Chazal Kena means it goes back to Sinai, that they don't have to pay anything. So what do you teach me by the Yashim? If the father would have been alive and he would have said, I don't know about the other 50, he wouldn't have had to pay. So the Yashim for sure, why should it be any different? So think about so with Abu Shmuel. So therefore is a raya that what does it mean? That the father would be chayiv to pay, and he's come to teach you the Yashim al-Pater. But the Abu Shmuel will argue on Rabbi Abba that they say it's chazal that the father wasn't mechuyev to pay. So Haishvus Hashem Tiyeh Ben Shneim. What's the pasuk coming to my kadoshi bay? What is he coming to dashan? After the Gemara, Tanya, we need it like we learned in the Brisa on Lamates. If you remember, Shimon Ben Tarfon Noima. It's a very unique name. Shimon Ben Tarfon says Shvus Hashem Tiyeh Ben Shneim Melamed Shehashvua, the einish of the shvua Chal Al Shneim is Chal not only on the Nitva who's swearing, but also on the Teveya. Why? Because the Teveya, the Malva, should have never lent money to somebody who's untrustworthy. That will lead up to a Shvua. So since he lent it to somebody who's untrustworthy and lead up to a Shvua, and it can come out to a Shvua Shav or a Shvua Sheker, he's part of the punishment because he had the achrayas to make sure he lends to an honest person. Since we mentioned already Shimon Ben Tarfon, So he's going to tell you a couple of drashas about Shimon ben Tarfon. Shimon ben Tarfon, oima, azhar loikev, achanoi v'nayim. How do we know there's a warning? And where do we learn out the hasara that, I don't know what they call it, a guy who gives out women to men that they should commit adultery. Sells them out. Oh, there you go. So he says, you're not allowed to do that. Talmud Lema, from where do we know that? It says Lois Sinov. Sinov is going on a man himself. He should not live with a woman other than his wife. So he reads Lois Sanif. Lois Sanif means you shouldn't bring other women, other men to kneel. Lois Sanif means you shouldn't bring other men to kneel. Okay. Another din, another inyan, another drasha from Shimon ben Tarfon. It says, it's this week's pasha. It says that they spied. So it says, and they spoke lashon hara. Shimon ben Tarfon noima. So we dash him that teragnu. It means tartem. First of all, you spied over the land. V'ginisim ba'alei shamakim, and you shamed the place of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Eretz Yisrael. This is the Meraglim. So he says, why is it Alei Shamakim? So why? Well, it says V'ginis Alei Shamakim. It's like embarrassing Hashem itself, because that's the oil of Hashem. That's the Eretz Yisrael is the place where Hashem dwelled. And it's also written of a similar drasha, Adanoah Godel Nahapras, till this great river Nahapras, which we know Nahapras was the smallest river out of the four. It says in the pasuk as the last Nar. But Shimon ben Tarfon Karav the Gabe Dehina, that it was by somebody who touches a person who's oily, the oil goes on him. So Al Idan, he becomes also oily. Al Nahapras was one of the Gevulim of Eretz Yisrael, so therefore was considered as Gadol, because it was part of Eretz Yisrael. Dvei Rabbi Yishmael, Tana, Dvei Rabbi Yishmael gives a different drasha, that he says, Evet Melech, Kim Melech, has the Shavous of a Melech. When here he says, what does it mean? That you have to give him kavod the same way. Okay, in the Mishnah we learned Hachamli Alpin Kasei. What happened? There was a storekeeper who the Balabai said to the storekeeper, give them $100 worth of the wages to the workers. And now the workers and the Chemini come to the Balabayas. The Chemini says, I paid your workers $100 worth, give me $100. The workers come and say, we never collected from the Chemini, you never gave us anything. Give us the $100. So what is the halacha? So the Mishnah says that the Rebbe says that they both swear and collect, and the Balabayas has to pay double. They double dip in him, and they both swear. And Ben Nana says, how could they both swear? One is going to be a liar. He says, no, they collect without a shua, both sides. Says, you want to tell me, we learned in Rebbe. Rebbe was the one that brought down, well, soon said that. Rebbe said, how could take a shua zulama? Why are we makriya both of them to swear and cause that one of them is going to be saying a shua shabbat, a shua sheker? You're asking this question, Tanina. You taught us. You're the one that says both of them should swear and collect from the balabayas. In fact, you might have kiblim in there. Did the Rebbe accept what the Rebbe was saying that you taught us? Or he backed out? And maybe he said they shouldn't have to swear. Tashma, come in here and I'll answer you. The Tanya we learned in the Braisa, the Piddush of Rebbe, what he holds. The workers swear to the storekeeper, right? And it's that they didn't receive anything from him, and they collect from him. They collect from the Chemini because they swear to the Chemini. And if it's right that Rebbe accepted the B'chiyas Taina, why the Balabayas been violated? It should have said that the workers go to the Balabayas and swear to him that we didn't get anything from the Chemini, and the Balabayas has to pay the workers aside from paying from the Chemini, who says he paid them. Why do we say that the workers go to the Chemini and swear and collect from the Chemini? Says you might know that wasn't the pshat. Amarabba, toilin nishboyim the balabayis. The workers swear to the balabayis. Aber b'maimet Chemini, in front of the Chemini, kehechid lekasben in order either side, whoever's lying should be embarrassed. It should be all together. And he makes the Peilim say you didn't get from the Chemini, and the Chemini says you did get. So the Balabai says, no problem. We're all here together. workers swear in front of me that the Khamenei didn't give you. But who are they swearing to? The Balabayas. At the end, if they both swear, he's going to have to pay both. So you see, he didn't back out. Itma, we learned, you had two groups of Edom, and they're both contradicting each other. Two Edom say Reuben killed Shimon. Reuben and Shimon, let's say. Two Edom. Yaakov and Yehuda say Reuben killed Shimon, and Levi and Naphtali say no, that he didn't kill. So you have two Edom. Somebody's lying here. You have two groups of Edom. Two of the Edom are lying. Amar Rav Huna says Zuba b'fnei atzma meida, Zuba b'fnei atzma meida. He says if they're both testifying on two different cases, it's not a problem. We'll trust both sides, both cases. Says no, all these Eidos are sheker, we can't trust them because one of them is lying. We don't know which one. We can't trust any case. Says how about Shnei Malvin, Ushnei Levin, Ushnei Studies? This is a case of where they're arguing. Two separate Malvas, two separate Levas, two Studies. It's mamish two separate cases. You have two Eidim on one star and two Eidim on the other star. Of course, we're talking about that they didn't join. You didn't have one from this side join with one from this side. Then for sure it's possible. That's what they're trying to bring down. Of course, for sure you have one of the Eidim that are possible. We're talking about this. They stuck together and on two separate studies. Hainu Pluktai says that's machlokes between Rav Huna and Rav Chisda. Rav Huna says it's good, both studies. Rav Chisda says it's possible. Malva b'leiva u'shnei studies. What's if it's the same malva b'leiva, but it's two separate studies? So the malva has two loans that he gave to the leiva. One for $1,000, the malva gave to the leiva, and one for $500. So and each star has different Eidim, but the two contradictory Eidim. Says you want a yad bal hashta al tachtina. We're not going to let him collect the bigger amount, the biggest sum of $1,000. The malva will only be able to collect the lower amount of $500. Being that for sure one of the studies are apostle, so since one of the studies are apostle, we're not going to let him collect more. Okay, we're going to tell him he can only collect the lower amount. How about Shnei Malvin v'loiva achad? What's if it's two different malvas, but it's one loiva, u'shnei studies and two studies? Says you want to hang nissen. That's the mamash our case of the Mishnah. What's the Chamdani? Yeah, there's a balabayis, right? One loiva. And he's the loiva for the Chamdani. He told the Chamdani to give the pailin, and he owes the pailin. So you have one loiva, right? He borrowed, meaning he borrowed from the workers and he borrowed from the Chamdani, correct? That's what we said in the Mishnah. So that's mamash our case in the Mishnah. So what we pass in the Mishnah, that they both collect from the balabayis. How about Shnei Lovin? Two loivas, but umalva echad, one lender, ushnei studies, and two studies. So two borrowers and one malva. It's not the same loiva, it's two different loivas. Ushnei studies. What's the din? So in such a case, do we say that the malva cannot collect both studies? It's two different loivas. So why shouldn't he be able to collect? But we'll say since it's one of the studies for sure is possible because you're dealing with one malva, and the malva has two studies. For sure, one of the studies is the Edom Absulin. Says the Gemara, this whole shaila was only according to Rav Huna. Rav Chisda says, hey, we always passel it. If we don't accept studies of two Edom against two Eidim, right? And two Eidim, we don't know which one is kasher, which one is pasul. According to Rav Chisda, the halacha will be that it will for sure not be able to collect anything. But according to Rav Huna, we're not sure. Should we consider it as two separate cases because it's two different lavin, or should we consider it as one case, the malva, because it's one malva, and it's the two studies that belong to the same malva? So one of the studies he shouldn't be able to collect, maybe. Take says, you want to tishbi, it's question about